Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this explosive deep dive into one of the most shocking moments in British daytime television history. Imagine the bright, bustling studio of ITV's beloved morning show, Lorraine, where host Lorraine Kelly, with her trademark warmth and Scottish charm, welcomes guests from the worlds of entertainment, news, and royalty. It's a place where laughter echoes off the walls, where celebrities spill tea over steaming cups of coffee, and where the nation tunes in to start their day with a smile. But on this fateful morning in early 2025, the air crackled with an unexpected tension that would leave viewers gasping and the internet ablaze. Our story centers on none other than Colin Firth, the quintessential English gentleman, two-time Academy Award nominee, and heartthrob extraordinaire known for his brooding intensity in films like Pride and Prejudice, The King's Speech, and A Single Man. Firth, at 65 years young, has long been the epitome of refined elegance, his chiseled jaw and soulful eyes captivating audiences for decades. Yet, beneath that polished exterior lies a man of deep convictions, a passionate advocate for social justice, environmental causes, and the nuanced portrayal of human frailty on screen. This wasn't just any interview, it was meant to be a celebratory chat promoting Firth's latest project, a riveting HBO series titled Echoes of Empire, where he stars as a disillusioned diplomat unraveling colonial secrets in a post-Brexit world. The series, penned by acclaimed screenwriter Abby Morgan, had already garnered buzz at Sundance for its unflinching look at Britain's imperial past and its lingering shadows on modern politics. Firth, ever the method actor, had immersed himself in historical archives, emerging with a fire in his belly about the hypocrisies of power that mirrored his own evolving views on monarchy and governance. As the cameras rolled, the studio lights bathed the set in a golden hue, the audience of about 150 loyal fans clapping enthusiastically as Lorraine, dressed in a vibrant emerald blouse that matched her lively spirit, introduced her guest with effusive praise. Colin Firth, everyone, the man who makes us all weak at the knees and think deeply about life, she quipped, eliciting chuckles from the crowd. Firth, impeccably suited in a navy blazer over a crisp white shirt, no tie to signal his relaxed yet authoritative demeanor, settled into the plush armchair opposite her, flashing the signature shy smile that has melted hearts since his Mr. Darcy days. The opening banter flowed smoothly, a light-hearted jabs at his iconic white shirt scene, fond remembrances of working with Meryl Streep, and a quick pivot to his fitness routine, which surprisingly included yoga retreats in the Cotswolds to combat the stresses of Hollywood. Lorraine, a veteran broadcaster with over 40 years in the game, steered the conversation with the finesse of a seasoned pro, her eyes twinkling as she probed gently into his personal life, touching on his blended family with ex-wife Livia Giugioli and his quiet life in Chiswick with current partner Maggie. But as the segment progressed, the tone shifted subtly, like a storm cloud drifting over a sunny picnic. It started innocently enough with a question about the royal family, tying into the imperial themes of Echoes of Empire. Lorraine, known for her cheeky royal commentary, leaned in with a conspiratorial wink. Colin, your character grapples with the weight of the crown. Does that ever make you wonder about our own King Charles and the burdens he carries? Firth's response was measured, his voice a low, resonant timbre honed from years of Shakespearean training. The monarchy is a fascinating relic, isn't it? A symbol of continuity in turbulent times, yet one that demands we confront uncomfortable truths about privilege and accountability. The audience nodded appreciatively, sensing the depth beneath his words. Little did they know, this was the spark that would ignite the powder keg. As commercials loomed, Lorraine pressed further, her curiosity piqued by recent headlines about Prince Andrew's latest scandal and the public's growing disillusionment with the firm. With all the drama swirling around the royals of the Epstein ties, the taxpayer burdens, do you think it's time for real reform, or even abolition? It was a bold pivot, one that caught Firth off guard, his fingers drumming lightly on the armrest as he gathered his thoughts. The studio fell into a hush, the only sound the faint hum of the lights overhead. Firth's eyes, those piercing blue orbs that convey volumes without a word, narrowed slightly, not in anger but in contemplation. He leaned forward, his posture straightening like a man about to deliver a soliloquy. Reform? Absolutely. But abolition? That's a conversation we must have with honesty, not sensationalism. The institution has shaped our identity, for better or worse, and dismantling it without addressing the inequalities it perpetuates would be folly. The words hung in the air, elegant yet edged with steel, and for a split second, the warmth of the show flickered. Viewers at home, sipping their morning brews, felt the shift from feel-good fluff to something profoundly real. This was no scripted drama, this was Colin Firth, unfiltered, challenging the status quo on Live Daily. And as the argument began to simmer, no one could predict the volcanic eruption that would follow, turning a routine promo spot into tabloid gold and a career-defining stand for the actor. But let's rewind a bit further to understand the man behind the moment. Born in 1960 in Surrey to academic parents, his father a history professor, his mother a comparative literature scholar, Firth grew up in a household where dinner-table debates on politics and philosophy were as common as shepherd's pie. This intellectual upbringing instilled in him a disdain for superficiality, a trait that would clash spectacularly with the frothy nature of morning TV. His early career, marked by stints in the RSC and breakout roles in another country, saw him evolve from pretty boy to profound performer, earning BAFTAs and Oscars along the way. Yet, off-screen, Firth has been no stranger to controversy. His vocal support for refugees during the 2015 crisis, his arrests at climate protests with Extinction Rebellion, and his candid essays in The Guardian on toxic masculinity in Hollywood. By 2025, with echoes of Empire thrusting him back into the spotlight, Firth was at a crossroads, weary of the industry's commodification of art and eager to wield his platform for change. Lorraine Kelly, on the other hand, represents the heartbeat of British morning television. Rising from a cub reporter at the Daily Record to the anchor of her eponymous show since 2010, she's interviewed everyone from Barack Obama to the Spice Girls, always with a disarming blend of humor and heart. At 66, with her iconic bob haircut and infectious laugh, she's a national treasure, but critics whisper she's sometimes too cozy with the establishment, her questions veering into gossip over grit. This dynamic of Firth the principled outsider versus Kelly the affable insider was always going to be electric, but what unfolded was a masterclass in televised tension, a clash of titans that would redefine their legacies. As the cameras captured every micro-expression, the audience leaned in, sensing history in the making. And oh, what a history it would be, one of raised voices, pointed fingers, and ultimately, a dramatic exit that echoed far beyond the studio walls, sparking debates on free speech, celebrity activism, and the role of TV in shaping public discourse. But to truly appreciate the fallout, we must delve into the heart of the argument itself, the words that lit the fuse and propelled this ordinary Tuesday into infamy. The interview's pivot to politics was seamless at first, a nod to the zeitgeist where entertainment and empire collide in the post-Charles era. Lorraine, ever the astute host, had done her homework, referencing Firth's recent op-ed in The Observer where he lambasted the cozy complacency of Westminster's ties to the crown. "You've been quite vocal lately, Colin," she said, her tone playful yet probing, calling out the royals for their ivory tower detachment. "Is that bleeding into your performance?" Firth chuckled softly, the sound like gravel wrapped in velvet, and replied, "Bleeding in? It's the lifeblood of the role. My character sees the empire's ghosts in every scepter and crown jewel, reminders that power unchecked breeds injustice." The audience applauded, a ripple of approval that encouraged Lorraine to dig deeper. She cited a fresh scandal, leaked memos revealing millions in royal travel expenses amid NHS cuts, her eyebrows arching dramatically for effect. "It's all over the paper," suggests to Balmoral while food banks overflow. "Don't you think the public deserves better?" Here, the room's energy shifted. What was banter became brinkmanship. Firth's face, usually a canvas of quiet intensity, tightened, his lips pressing into a thin line as he weighed his response. He wasn't prepared for the ambush feel, the way her question framed him as both judge and jury. "Deserves better?" "Unequivocally," he affirmed, his voice gaining volume. "But let's not reduce it to headlines. The monarchy isn't the villain in a pantomime, it's a symptom of deeper systemic rota class divides, media manipulation, corporate capture of democracy. Lorraine, undeterred, leaned back with a mischievous grin, her reporter's instinct kicking in. Symptom or source? Come on, Colin, you're the king of nuancia, give us the unvarnished truth. Abolish the lot? It was a gauntlet thrown, casual on the surface but loaded with the weight of national debate. The studio audience, a mix of housewives, retirees, and aspiring actors, murmured in anticipation, phones discreetly recording under seats. Firth paused, his fingers interlacing as if to steady a tremor of frustration. When he spoke, it was with the measured fury of a man who's spent a lifetime honing restraint. Abolition isn't a dirty word, it's a democratic imperative. Why prop up a 1,000-year-old anachronism when we could invest in education, equality, real sovereignty for the people? Gasps dotted the crowd, supportive from some, shocked from others who viewed the royals as fairy tale fixtures. Lorraine's eyes widened, her laugh a touch forced. Whoa, steady on, that's going to get the palace phones ringing. But seriously, isn't that a bit harsh on good old Charlie? He's trying with the eco stuff, isn't he? And there it was, this bark. Firth's brow furrowed, a storm brewing in those Darcy depths. Trying? With private jets spewing carbon while he preaches net zero? It's performative. Lorraine greenwashing for the gilded cage. The words landed like a slap, the audience hushing as the host's smile faltered. For a beat, the only sound was the tick of the studio clock. Then Lorraine regrouped, her Scottish lilt sharpening. Performative? That's a strong word from a man who once played a king with a stutter and won an Oscar for it. Are we all just acting our parts? It was a clever parry, invoking the king's speech to humanize the debate, but Firth saw through it, his patience fraying like an old script. No, Lorraine, that's the point. I'm an actor, paid to empathize, to expose truths. The royals, they're scripted by birthright, shielded from scrutiny while the rest of us pay the piper. The exchange escalated, voices rising in a crescendo of conviction. Lorraine, defending her turf, countered with tales of royal charity, of visits to hospitals, patronages for the arts, painting a picture of benevolence amid opulence. They're not monsters, Colin, they're family, flawed like us. Firth, now on his feet unconsciously, gestured emphatically. Flawed? They're feudal, a family business masquerading as national heritage, costing £100 million a year while inequality soars. The audience was divided, a claps for Firth's fire, boos from traditionalists, creating a cacophony that drowned the floor manager's subtle signals to rap. Commercials were overdue, but neither yielded. It was a duel of ideals. Firth the revolutionary, Lorraine the conciliator. Viewers flooded Twitter, or X, as it's now branded, with live reactions. Colin Firth vs Lorraine trending within minutes. Memes of Darcy storming off Pemberley flooding feeds. Back in the studio, the heat intensified as Lorraine pressed on privilege. Easy for you to say, jetting to premiere SA, aren't you part of the elite? Firth's retort was swift, laced with personal sting. Elite? I've marched for migrants, divested from fossil fuels, lived modestly compared to that Windsor wealth. This isn't about me, it's about accountability. The argument veered personal, Lorraine referencing his own 2019 divorce headlines, a low blow that made Firth's cheeks flush. Don't drag my private life into these. A focus on the power imbalance. Security hovered at the edges, producers whispering frantically into earpieces, but the die was cast. This wasn't dialogue, it was detonation, a raw unraveling of civility that exposed the fault lines in British society. As the clock ticked past schedule, the world watched a gentleman unravel, his eloquence turning to exasperation, setting the stage for the walkout that would seal the legend. To grasp the full gravity, consider the broader canvas. 2025's Britain, reeling from economic aftershocks of pandemic and war, where royal scandals fuel Republican sentiments among the young, yet nostalgia clings among the old. Firth, with his Oxbridge aura and activist bend, embodied the progressive push, while Lorraine's show, with 1.2 million daily viewers, mostly over 50s, leaned conservative cozy. Their clash wasn't isolated, it echoed debates in Parliament, protests in Trafalgar Square, and editorials in every broadsheet. As voices peaked, Firth's final barb of this show peddles platitudes while the empire's since festro hung like smoke, and in that instant, the exit loomed, A dramatic denouement to a morning-turned melee. The tipping point arrived not with a bang, but a barrage of unyielding questions that stripped away the veneer of hospitality. Lorraine, her cheeks pink with the adrenaline of live TV combat, fired back, peddling platitudes. We've had victims of Grenfell here, survivors of Windrush. All this show amplifies voices, not silences them. Her defense was passionate, invoking episodes where she platformed the marginalized, from Grenada deportees to care home whistleblowers, her voice cracking with genuine pride. The audience, sensing the rawness, erupted in a mix of cheers and jeers, a microcosm of the nation's divide. Firth, undaunted, countered with precision, his actor's timing impeccable. Amplifies, in bite-sized segments between ads for luxury cruises. True change demands discomfort, not diluted discourse. It was a gut punch, accusing her format of superficiality, and Lorraine recoiled as if struck, her hand fluttering to her necklace, a family heirloom, symbol of her grounded roots in Scotland's working-class heartland. Discomfort? I've reported from war zones, lost colleagues to the job, but this is my arena for good. The personal stakes escalated, the interview morphing into a therapy session gone awry, where grievances aired like dirty laundry on national airwaves. Producers, sweating in the control booth, signaled frantically, red lights flashing, prompts scrolling rap now on teleprompters. But ego and ethos overrode etiquette. Neither would back down. Firth, his tie loosened in subconscious rebellion, delved deeper into the monarchy's underbelly, citing the £369 million Buckingham Palace refurb, funded by public purse while austerity bit the poor. It's not just money, it's moral bankruptcy, propping up a system that demeans us all. Lorraine parried with populism. The royals bring tourism, billions of jobs for everyday folk like my neighbors and Pollock Shields. Back and forth they went, a verbal fencing match illuminated by studio spotlights that now felt like interrogation lamps. The audience, initially amused, grew uneasy. Whispers of "is this scripted?" circulated, but the sweat on Firth's brow and the fire in Kelly's eyes screamed authenticity. Outside, in the green room, co-stars from Echoes of Empire, rising stars Ara Khan and director Tom Hooper watched monitors in horror, exchanging glances that said, "This is career suicide." Social media exploded, TikToks clipping the zingers, Reddit threads dissecting subtext, with #abolish the crown surging to global trends. Firth, sensing the vortex, attempted olive branch I respect your platform, Lorraine, it's just time for a bolder stroke, but she, wounded by the platitude's jab, doubled down. Bolder? Like storming the gates? You're an actor, not an agitator. That the line between professional critique and personal attack blurred irreparably. Firth's eyes flashed, a rare glimpse of the tempest beneath his calm. Agitator? Better than apologist for an outdated order. The volume peaked, overlapping shouts drowning the applause signs. In the chaos, a stagehand tripped over a cable, a microphone screech piercing the din like a siren. Security inched closer, black-suited figures from ITV's crisis team, trained for hecklers but not celebrity meltdowns. Lorraine, mid-rebuttal on royal eco-efforts, faltered as Firth rose fully, his chair scraping like a judge's gavel. This isn't dialogue, it's deflection. I came to promote art, not endorse apathy. The crowd gasped collectively, phones aloft capturing the standoff. Viewers at home, from Manchester mums to London lawyers, froze mid-cereal bowl, hearts pounding with second-hand drama. This was peak telly and unscripted, unhinged, unforgettable. To contextualize, recall Firth's arc, from 90s rom-com darling to 2020's conscience, his activism amplified by roles like the refugee advocate and the Mercy. Kelly, conversely, embodies resiliency, overcoming sexism in newsrooms, championing women's health segments amid her own menopause openness. Theirs was a collision of eras, the old guard's loyalty versus new wave's reckoning. As the argument crested, Firth's parting showed a "perhaps it's time we all walk away from fairy tale" as a signaled the endgame. He turned, coat in hand, striding toward the exit with Darcy-esque determination, leaving Lorraine stunned, mouth agape, as applause erupted, half for him, half in shock. The floor manager yelled cut to break. But it was too late. The deed was done, a walkout witnessed by millions. etching itself into TV lore.